parents and students. In this video, I'm going to be going over questions 17 through 22 on the daily note sheet that your child has. And we'll get started right now with question number 17. Number 17 says that Tim bought 15 cans of soup and 1/3 of them are chicken noodle. David bought 8 cans of soup and 1/4 of his cans are chicken noodle. We need to know if Tim and David have the same amount of chicken noodle soup. And then it says to explain our reasoning by showing our equation. So we must be able to pull out what multiplication equations are inside of this word problem. So we know that Tim has 15 cans of soup and 1/3 of his are chicken noodle. So we need to multiply to see what 1/3 of 15 is. And we know that David bought 8 cans of soup and 1/4 of his are chicken noodle. Okay, so we need to see if 1/3 of 15 is the same as 1/4 of 8. So let's multiply these fractions. 15 times 1 is 15, and the denominator stays as 3. And now I need to simplify this. So what is 15 divided by 3? And that is 5. So that means that Tim has 5 cans of chicken noodle soup. Now let's look at David's problem. We need to find out what 1/4 of 8 is. And 8 times 1 is 8, and the denominator stays as 4. Now we can simplify. What is 8 divided by 4? And that is 2. So that means that David has 2 cans of chicken noodle soup. Do Tim and David have the same amount? No, they do not. So when it says explain your reasoning by showing your equation, you need to write your explanation and include the work that you just did up here to prove why your answer is what it is. I would say no, Tim and David do not have the same amount of chicken noodle soup because Tim has 15 cans times 1/3, which is equal to 5 whole cans of soup. And David has 8 cans times 1/4, since 1/4 of his are chicken noodle. And that gives me a whole number of 2. So Tim actually has 3 extra cans of chicken noodle soup than David. All right, question number 18 says, I was playing fetch with Sadie over the break and I drew this model to show how many times she caught the tennis ball in the air each day. And your model copied a little bit dark, but each of those boxes has 8 equal parts. And 7 of them are shaded in. Okay? So, how many whole times, or how many whole groups do you have in this equation? Or how many whole boxes do you have? And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So that would be a whole number of 4. And I need to multiply that by how many are shaded in inside of each of my boxes. Okay, and how many are shaded in each of the boxes? And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the 8. So that means that over the 4 days that I played with Sadie, she caught the ball 7 out of 8 times each day. 4 times 7 is 28. And now I need to do 28 with my denominator of 8. And now I need to simplify this fraction. What is 28 divided by 8? Well, I know that 8 can go into 28 3 times. And 8 times 3 is 24. Okay. 8 times 3 is 24, and then I have to subtract 28 minus 24, which is 4. So that's my remainder. So that means that she caught the ball 3 4/8 times. My remainder of 4 over this number of 8. 3 4/8. And if you look at these two numbers, since they're both even, that can be simplified down to 3 wholes and 1/2. 3 1/2. Again, I had to count how many whole boxes I had, which was 4, and then multiply it times the fraction inside of each box, which was 7/8. Once I multiply this out and get my fraction, I have to reduce that down since it's improper. So I divide 28 divided by 8, which leaves me with 3 and a remainder of 4/8. And then I was able to simplify that down to 3 1/2. Alright, question number 19 asks you to write your own word problem that matches the equation. And for you to start, you have to know what the equation would be. So first you have to count how many holes do I have. And I have 3 holes. And that's going to be multiplied by the fraction within each hole. So if you count, you'll see that shaded in you have 2 out of the 6 equal parts. So using this mixed number, you should come up with your own word problem to represent 3 times 2/6. If you need some inspiration, you can look back even on this study guide and see what are some other word problems that I've used and how could you modify those to use these numbers instead. Alright, question number 20 says that for your birthday party, your aunt is planning to buy giant submarine sandwiches for you and the 15 other guests that are at your party to share. The sandwiches can be divided into 6. And if each person at the party eats 1/6 of the sandwich, how many whole sandwiches does your aunt need to buy? Alright, so we need to pull out the multiplication expression first. And since she's buying them for you and the 15 guests, that would be a total of 16 people. So 16 people are eating the sandwiches, and the sandwiches are cut into pieces that are 1/6. Alright? So what we need to do is solve this. 16 times 1 is 16. My denominator stays as 6. And since I'm left with an improper fraction, what do I need to do next? I need to simplify this down. So I need to divide 16 divided by 6. And I know that 6 can go into 16 2 times. 6 times 2 is 12. Then I subtract, which leaves me with 4 as my remainder. So really, how many total pieces do I need? I would need 2 whole sandwiches and 4/6 of another one. But the question asks, how many whole sandwiches does she need to buy for everyone? She doesn't need to just buy 2 because that wouldn't be enough. So she needs to buy 3 whole sandwiches. She has to buy 3 whole sandwiches because when you solve this out and you get your final answer of 2 and 4/6, how many holes does she need? She needs more than just 2 holes. She would have to order 3 whole sandwiches. Alright, question number 21.